Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's Sunday, and y'all know what that means. Roll for initiative. Of course, today we're going to be playing cards for initiative. That's right, y'all. It's Solo Play Sunday, the show where I do a solo dive into various tabletop games, and y'all can laugh at my antics and bad voice acting. This week, as promised, we're diving back into one of the RPGs I acquired during our recent mini vacation to Rochester, New York, my wife's hometown. Well, one of them. She's mainly from Yuma, Arizona, but also Rochester. Anyway, but we're diving back into Dragonbane. If this is your first viewing of me covering this RPG, I do a dive into the details of that game on a Tabletop Tuesday right here on this channel, so go ahead and check it out if you're curious. Also, this episode will be following hot in the heels of last week's because I want revenge. Vengeance shall be mine. As y'all probably saw, I attempted the solo play adventure included with the Dragonbane box set, and some vampiric bats handed me my butt, which, sure, I was grateful for. I've been curious where it gotten off to, but that's not the point. They kicked my butt, slaughtered my poor little mallard mage like they were looking for their next dinner. It was horrible. Go and check it out if you want to laugh before starting this one. Hopefully, this one goes better, but we'll see. Dragonbane's kind of a deadly RPG, I'm finding out. So, for my next character, I had settled on something tanky, something big, bulky, and strong, could take a hit. At first, I thought, something like the fighter, but I settled on knight as the image I had in my head was someone devoted, someone who had a cause, stiff back, iron jaw, covered in heavy armor. So knight it was. Further, when I was thinking about races, I came back to mallard. They're just so dang fun. So a mallard knight, and then I thought, if he's related to Qwuckswell. The dice said overwhelmingly yes. Following that rabbit down the hole, I rolled age and got young and asked the oracle, is he younger or older than Qwuckswell? And the dice said younger. Then I asked the obvious, is it a brother? Overwhelmingly no. So it's a cousin. So here we have our intrepid new hero, Grotty, the Mallard Knight. I took the name from the suggested ones. I didn't want to put too much effort into a great name, as I'm not sure this guy will survive either. We'll just have to see here in a few minutes. Yes, in case you weren't sure, I don't script these things. I write myself a little intro, I get into the dice rolling, and I do a recap. Keep it real, keep it honest, keep it natural. His stats are below. Pretty stock fare, really. No twists or turns. He rolled pretty good across the board, but obviously I put the high stats in the ones you'd expect. I'm giving him Army of One for his solo special ability. I just just like the last character, I just like that one. Now, since he's not a mage, he gets to choose a special ability in addition to the solo play ability. I really wanted to take some fun ones like a defensive or shield block or something. But when I rolled his weakness, he got foolhardy. Always has to go first into danger. So instead of thinking it like, "Rawr, I'm an idiot, me charge," it was more like selfless. He's big, he's tough, and he's armored. So he needs to lead the charge to keep others safe. At least that's how it is in my head canon. So this led me to think about the fearless special ability, and that just seemed to make more RP sense than the others, at least for now. He'll pick up more nuance later, provided he survives. But right now, he's first into the fray and free of fear. Now, because my soul cries out for vengeance, because blood calls out for blood, we're going to go fast forward through a bit of the RP at the beginning. Grotti doesn't hear from his cousin, and they arrange to sit down and discuss his adventure once he got back, but several days pass, and Grotti hasn't seen Qwuckswell, so he knows in his gut something went wrong, and there's no one better to go and find out what happened than he. Off to the breach he goes, where he's confronted with the horrific red glow out of the cracks of the earth, the rundown chapel where he spares a few words with its keeper, and the old wolf man tells him his cousin passed this way some days ago, but never returned. And Grotti knows somewhere down there in the breach lies his cousin, and that's where he must go to find out the truth, to find some token of his relative's passing, and bring it back, giving closure to the family. and to mercilessly bludgeon whatever slew Qwuckswell until they're nothing but a red stain on the ground. Okay, everybody, we got everything set up. We're ready to go. We got Grody. He's ready to go down the perilous path, as the adventure describes it. The plunging path, I'm sorry. We've got our threat dice. Every time he has to delay to do anything, that goes up by one. And he's facing the same situation that Qwuckswell faced, and that now he's wearing plate armor. And he's untrained in sneaking around, stealth. So, as laughable as it might be, he's going to attempt. Yeah, there's no sneaking. Nice rolls, but no, no. He is not successful in sneaking, so he's just tromping down the path. There we go. So, he enters the path. The vampiric bats, who are still here, they found a good meal here recently, so they tend to hang around. Oh, it's horrible, I know. But they are hanging out here, and I'm going to say that they are probably aware of this big clanking metal-clad figure coming stomping down the stairs. Let's see what their move is. The move is 12 spaces, so they are immediately going to come. So let's go ahead and get the initiative here. So Grody, let's see here. Let's do a little shuffle here. Initiative here. Okay. All right. So Grody. Grody has the 5, and he has the 4. Oh, hey. The bats have a 2. Y and a 3. Us. Phenomenal. All right, so the bats are going to be going twice before he can move. So, all right, so first round. Now, something I did do last time that, I didn't do quite right is that for every time it goes, you roll on this table to see what the monster does. Because they don't always just attack. So first they're going to move, which I'm assuming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, they actually don't get to him. They are too far away. They cannot act on that. Now they can burn their other initiative to reach him, and I think that's what they're going to do. There's nothing really else for them to do. So they're burning their second initiative. Now they have now engaged him in melee range. However, they've burned all their initiative cards. They have no actions. So, Grotty, it's your go, buddy. Let's see what happens. He's going to forego all defense and just be like, there's something on me. And he's going to strike at them. Now he's going to be using hammers for his Morning Star. Skill 12. So this is going on his 4. That is a 2. That is absolutely a hit. The Morning Star does 2d8 damage, but he also gets a bonus of d4 because he has nice stats. So first we will do 6. And we will do 6 more. There's 12. Oh man, come on. And 4 more. That's 16. 16 damage from his first attack. And that will bring them from 18 to 2. Oh, revenge is sweet. She feels sweet. So we're going for our second attack since, they've burned through all their actions. He's going to swing again. Let's see what happens. We have a 4. It's another hit. And I'm assuming it's foregone. Yeah. He smokes him. He smokes him. He has smited the swarm of vampire bats. He has avenged his cousin, which, once these are out of the way, he can certainly travel down here. I'm not going to roll for movement or anything like that, but he finds what little remains of his cousin, and he will take one of his mementos that he rolled a memento and got a griffin feather. So he has a griffin feather. It means a great deal to him, and I'm going to say that's probably something he found on Qwuckswell's last stand, because I'm sure the body has been completely consumed at this point. Hungry bats and all that. So yeah, so he now has a token of his cousin's fate, and that has been resolved. So we'll move on to the second thing. Okay. Grotti has reached his second waypoint, his second area of interest in exploring this tomb. He wants to find out what was down here. What was his cousin down here looking for? Was he just here to cleanse the place, kill everything in it, or was he here for a specific reason? So now he is actually going to make a roll on myths and legends, which he has a 12. Oh, by the way, before we do that roll, since he spent time searching for his cousin's remains, something to bring back, we're going to advance the threat meter by 1 because he took some time there. Now he's looking at this, the charred tomb. Fire long ago ravaged this once grand mausoleum. It holds 5 remaining sarcophagi amid piles of ash. Find ye a path through a door hidden within one of these coffins, but disturb not the scorched dead, nor the hidden trap. So, first myths and legends is a 19. That is a failure. He's never heard anything about this place. This is unknown to him. So, no clues that route. So, he's going to have to search the old fashioned way. However, the problem is he does not have spot hidden. So his skill is going to be a 6 to 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 search around here. But he's going to be very specific about it. He's going to look for drag marks. If has anything been moved? Is the dust evenly settled? Is there some place where cobwebs aren't growing, and so on and so forth? So I'm going to give him a boon, but I'm also going to advance the threat meter to a 3. So we're getting close to ambush time. So we'll see here. So you're going to roll. Got a boon. Are you kidding me? Double dragon. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. So that is an unbelievable, unheard of, once in a lifetime success. So we'll do a little comedic here. We'll do a little comedic. So he walks in. He's kind of looking around. He's searching. He's looking for evidence of, has something been scraped? Has something been moved? Is there something glowing or not? And he's kind of thinking about it. And as he leans back, it clicks open the sarcophagus and it just opens up. And he's like, oh, yeah, I mean, if of course it was there. I mean, sure, I knew that. So, yeah, we're going to advance to the next area. Claudia emerges into an immense room. I was rolling it up using the Oracle, and it said it was just massive, so I made it as big as possible. If you care, these stumps are pillars, not tree stumps, holding the room up, and we have an outpost, an encampment, as the Oracle said, with numerous orcs who have made their homes here in this dank, red glowing dungeon, nasty place. Now, as Grotti comes in, he hears hideous laughing, just disturbing, awful laughing. Now, just between me and you all, when I rolled to see if they're hostile, it said no. However, Grotti's coming into this scene, and he's hearing this horrible laughter, and he's seeing these orcs, so he's definitely going to be weapons out. And since he's a knight, he's going to confront the danger head on, honorably, so he's going to take his 4 moves. He's going to announce his presence to them. And of course, they are startled, and I'm going to ask the Oracle again if they are hostile now that they know he's here. Did he startle them, etc.? Oh boy, extreme yes. So yeah, they are choosing violence. So oh boy. Okay, so Grotti is going to have initiative 10 and initiative 1. That's pretty extreme. These guys are all going to go on 7. So he's got a move. He sees them go for their weapons, and he knows, hey, this is going to be a thing. So he's going to hold his action. He's going to let them come to him so that he can act. So they'll move, and then he can act, and then they can act, and then he can act again. So these guys. Now, one thing I did ask the Oracle about them, and it said they were weak. So I'm going to take the weakest orc stats that are in here and say, okay, they can move 5 spaces. So he's going to move. He's going to move. And this guy's going to move. 3, 4, 5. He can't get there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I say he has to go around this guy's chair. 5. Back his bro up here. Now, they're not going to use their full move just yet. They're going to see what happens up here. These guys enter melee range. He gets to swing first. He's swinging on a 1. And that is a dragon. That is a dragon. Oh my gosh. Pause. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so since he rolled a dragon, he rolled a crit. He can choose you can either do double the dice and damage, you can take another free attack at another foe, or you can have the attack ignore armor. Now, as I said, when I was rolling on the oracle, it said these things are weak, so I'm not even using warrior stats, I'm using shaman stats. So they don't look particularly strong, they don't look particularly menacing, so dealing double damage seems like overkill. So he's going to hit this guy and then have another free attack at that guy. Let's see what we get. And 9, that is a hit. So he hits both of them, and he rolls 2d8 plus a d4 for damage. I have 10 hit points. 13, yeah, so it doesn't matter what the d4 rolls. This guy is crushed. This guy takes a hit. 7, 8. 8. Come on, give me 2 more points. That's exactly 2 points. Okay, so bonk. So he drops 2 dudes like that. So that's pretty cool. So they do not get counterattack on him. The others can continue to move, burning their second action, what would be their melee attack, but they're not in melee range. But they can, they're actually going to move. And they get up to 5 more spaces, so he's going to go around his bros here. Can reach him next round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, they've lost 2. I'm going to have a morale check at once they lose half their number. That's usually what I do in these situations. So they have taken all their actions. They are done. He still has an action card. He doesn't have to save it for parrying or anything. So he's going to swing at the guy that just came into melee range. 19. That is a miss. That's a whiff. All right. Okay. So new round. Rhodey gets a 5 and a 7. Orcs get a 2. Lovely. Well, they have not lost 50% of their numbers. And he missed this guy, so they are going to choose violence. He's moving here. He's moving here. And he's moving here. Now, they are all flanking. So, you know what? Actually, I'm going to move a little bit more so that they can have perfect flanking. So they're going to be rolling with a boon to hit. And let's see here. What is their skill? Their skill is 10. So that is a hit, no matter how you cut it. That is a miss, no matter how you cut it. 15 and 18, not good. A demon and a 4. Oof, but he's got a boon, so he's going to take 4. So that's a hit. So these two have hit. We got one more. 12 and a 7. 7 hits. He's going to take that. So we have 3 hits and a miss. So these guys are doing weak damage per the Oracle. So D8. So we got 2 damage coming in from here. He has DR8, so nothing. God, I think it even hurt him. Never mind. I mean, 7 and 5. Let me look up something real quick. Okay, now of course they wouldn't know this as they are choosing violence, but their attacks can't even damage him unless they get a dragon. So they all clang against him. His DR is 8, and they're only rolling D8. So unless they get dragon, there's no damage. So they're kind of like, oh, what? He realizes this, and he's just kind of like, oh, my lucky day. So he's going to smite another orc infidel. 15 is not good enough. And he's going to burn At least I think 15 might be enough. Check his character sheet here. Yes, his hammer is 12, so he needs a 12 or less to hit. And an 18 is not it. So yeah, he whiffs around. Now I am going to check morale on these things. So basically, they're going to make a will roll against fear. They have nothing listed, so I'm going to give them an arbitrary 6. Yeah, they're kind of like, oh, hey, this guy's dropped 2 of us already. We're unable to damage him. They're going to flee. Now, as they flee, they get a free swing. He's going to hit this guy. Whoa, whoa. Dice gone wild. And that is a hit. That is 9. He hits this guy for running. Saying bad or didn't run. Just die tired. And he does. He dies tired. Now this guy was reduced to 0. But you know what? He's a monster, so he's dead. Okay. So there's that encounter. Now, let's see. What'd you get for treasure, Grody? Okay, so Grody gets a Mastercraft weapon. Hello. Roll a d6. It is a broadsword. Oh, interesting. Okay. Just make a little note of that over there, saying, hey, picked up Mastercraft's broadsword here, you know? So I guess our Mallard's going to be changing to broadsword. But that's all he finds of any note here without ticking up the threat dice. And these guys have ran. So it's on to the next room. Right, and consulting the Oracle, our next spot of interest is a lofty bridge. So we're going to say there's a river of lava flowing through there. I know it looks like water, but that's an optical illusion. It's actually fire. Every place off the couch is fire. And we have our path, and there's the bridge over the lava. Standing on that bridge, we rolled, the Oracle said, a cultist who has an indifferent attitude towards those who come by. They are a halfling. Their motivation is, where is it? Knowledge of the world. They were a merchant, but the Oracle also said they're cultists, so the D12 trait was highly romantic. And the name we're going to pick is Taurus. So we've got Taurus, the halfling merchant that has come all this way to be a cultist. I'm going to say they just started, they came down here. They're looking for the source of the power. They want the reality of the world. You know, they want to see beyond the veil. Got that highly romanticized view of it. And our buddy here approaches them and says, you know, friend or foe, and they're just like neither. I mean, you know, indifferent, don't care. So he's kind of getting an odd vibe from them. So he's kind of like, you know, can I just pass on this bridge here and go about my way? Oracle says, yes. They're like, yes, by all means, go ahead. So he continues on. And he's going to stop here and ask them, like, you know, are you sure this is what you want to do? You know, being a cultist, you're going to sacrifice parts of yourself that you probably don't want to. And this is not a road you want to go down. So he's actually going to try to persuade. He's going to try to persuade them away from this course. He does not have persuade. So he's going to try to roll a 6 or below. He rolls a 19, so no. Well, at least it wasn't a demon. So he cannot persuade them. They, you know, opportunity missed, I suppose. But he's not going to take any action against them either yet. They have not done anything wrong yet. Right now, they're just a citizen. He's a knight. He's got a code. So he's kind of like, you know, I hope our paths never cross again. And he continues on his heroic journey. All right. We've reached the final chamber, the lowest rung on this downward path. Now, bear in mind that Grotti did not stop to pick up a quest from Engulfer. So he doesn't know about the orc down here being held prisoner, Gorm. So he comes into this room. he sees an obvious cult ritual going on, and it's just kind of like, well, you know, I'm a noble Mallard knight. I'm not going to put up with this crap. But he does see two cultists standing over an altar, about to sacrifice somebody who, they he hears him come clanking into the room and immediately starts screaming for help. Knight cannot refuse to scream for help. Somebody's being bent over by cultists. So, first thing we're going to do is roll some initiative. Grotty is on the 8 and the 5. Bad guys have a 7. Okay. So he's going to do his move. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's going to pause and see what they do. Like in the other fight, he's going to, he could burn one of his cards and get a little bit further, but he's going to wait and see what these guys do. Cult leader says, hey, kill that guy, obviously. So 2, 3, 4. He gets a little ways. He's going to get in melee now. So this guy has burned his initiative. This guy has not. But he's going to move close enough. There's a river here. He's going to lightning flash at Grotty. So let's do the big bad first. He's lightning flashing. He skills a 14. He rolls a 16. That is a miss. Still costs him 4 willpower points, though. He had 16, so he's down to 12 because the cost is doubled indoors. It's kind of a neat little detail the Dragonbane put into that. I like that. So we've got melee here. Garotti's actually going to go first. He's going to burn his 5 and see if he can drop this fool quickly. And let's see here. Skill of 12. 13. How rude. That is a whiff. Barely a whiff. So bad guy gets to swing. Bad guy skill is skill level 12. 15 is a miss. Whiffs. So bad guys have gone. Garotti's done his 1 initiative. He's going to take his 2nd initiative and try to hit this guy again. 17 is a negative. So we have a whole lot of whiffing going on in round 1. So we'll shuffle up for round 2 here. Okay, so now we're ready for round 2. Roddy is on the 10 and the 6. Bad guys are on the 8. Well, it's pretty much the same as last time. He's burning his 6 to smack the guy in front of him, hopefully. Yes, that's an 8. That is a hit. He rolls his 2d8. 5. 6 is 11, plus a d4. 12 damage is not bad. That is enough. For dramatic effect, we'll say he pitches, head over butt off the bridge into the darkness beyond. So all we got is the cult leader left. So cult leader's going to burn his 8 initiative. He's going to cast and move. So he's going to cast, and he gets a demon. Hold please. Okay, so this is a magical mishap, rolling a demon while casting a spell. So that's what you get for trying to conjure lightning indoors. So we're going to roll a d20. It is a 9. The spell gives rise to a magical disease with virulence 3d6. You and everyone you come into contact with during the next shift are exposed to the disease. Oh my god, he's a walking plague. Ay, ay, ay. Research disease. Okay, so when you're exposed to a disease, dangerous disease, the GM makes an open opposed roll between the disease's virulence rating, which is 3d6, and your con. If you win, you resist the disease. If not, you fall ill after 1 day, become sickly, and lose d6. So he's going to roll his con, which is a 9. I want to say that's probably it's the virulence. 6, 11. So 11. First roll, he rolls lower. So it is a success, and he rolls lower, so the disease is... Okay, it becomes sickly. He loses d6, he loses 5 hit points. That's half his hit points. While sick, he cannot heal hit points, willpower points, or conditions. So he falls sick. And the disease says everybody you come into contact with. Let's see if he chooses violence. Does he? Okay, Oracle. Does he want to just run it grotty and try to disease him? Oracle says no. Okay. No. He doesn't think of that. He's just like, oh God, I'm dying from this disease. So Grotty's going to interrogate him, which will advance the threat die. Saying, what are you doing there? And Gorham's just like, well, forget that. Get me out of here, man. So the cult leader is not going to oppose this. He's already lost his muscle. He's half hit points from sick. We're going to say Grotty gets out of there with Gorham. Man, that went decidedly different with a stereotypical melee tank character, like polar opposite different. What you all think? Give me a comment down below. I'm always responding, and if there's anything you noticed that I didn't in my play, I am new at Dragonbane, still learning. So, any tips or tricks, or if you just want to share a story, go right ahead. I like hearing about other people's little campaigns and such. But I have to say, in hindsight, I think I would have allowed Qwuckswell to begin his adventure with the magic armor and the magic power fists up. I mean, sure, it's a touch metagamey, but also given how deadly combat is in this game for normal characters, I don't consider it game breaking or unbalancing, especially in solo play. So that kind of changed. This kind of changed my mind in hindsight. Now we flip this over here to Grotty, the tank just a rolling through the dungeon, completely unstoppable. You know what it is? It reminds me of something like Diablo 2 or something, where some classes are just considered to be hard mode, while others are easy mode. And a knight starting out with plate armor and a great helm is 100% easy mode. I mean, I had a brief moment there where I thought the lightning flash might take him down a peg or two, as it would ignore his armor. But the NPC casting it turned out to have offended his demon masters or something, and that just didn't happen. So the automatic hits from monsters where NPCs have to roll is a pretty big factor to consider. If Grotti hadn't dropped those bats on round one, I kind of wonder how that would have gone, seeing as how they drain hit points and heal themselves. That might have gone differently, regardless of the fear. It's something to consider. But so there you have it, folks. The other side of the coin for Dragonbane. We got to see how the other half live, and live well they do. I hope this little solo adventure helps you visualize the game and get a good feel for the opposite ends of the spectrum as far as professions go. If you're a veteran, I hope I entertained you. Hopefully, it'll help you all make choices when it's your time to pick up a character and roll. But thank you all for tuning in, giving me a moment of your time. I appreciate you all, and I hope my little foray into this excellent RPG entertained you. If it did, feel free to hit that like button on your way out. If you want to see more of my hillbilly mug going on about geek stuff, feel free to subscribe and click the bell icon as it'll notify you when I put out something new, which is often. Now, it's Sunday, so get out there, roll some dice. While you're at it, read a comic, watch a cartoon, put in a good movie, bust out the action figures, do something fun. Make sure you get a drink of water today. And as always, have a good one.